Welcome to Between the Covers, the show for readers and writers and lovers of books. I'm Stephanie Larkin, author, book coach and developer, and head penguin of Red Penguin Books, a publishing company that works with authors of all types and genres. Whether you have a manuscript on your computer or maybe in 100 notebooks all ready to go, or you just kind of feel a book inside of you, sometimes for as long as a decade. Unleash your inner author and just give us a call. Visit Red Penguin Books and pick up a publishing packet to get started today. We're so thrilled to be sponsored by some fabulous people who make this show possible. First, Don Pablo Coffee. Don Pablo Coffee is exactly how I wake up in the morning, and if you know me personally, if it wasn't for caffeine, I wouldn't be a very pleasant person. So Don Pablo Coffee. And also Joe Fallese Law Firm. He's a lawyer and an accountant rolled into one, so you don't have to have your lawyer calling your accountant before they're able to make a move on anything. It's a great way of getting two birds for the price of one. Joe Fallese Law Firm. I am joined by some amazing writers and business people and just people that I love spending time with. So please welcome with me our guests, Adrian Miller.
Hello.
Keisha Christian. And David Lange.
Good evening.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. And for the first time, I have them all ready for you, Between the Covers club cards.
Excellent.
Bobby, do we have a slide with our Between the Covers club cards so our audience can see our club cards? David, there's yours.
Thank you.
This is awesome. It's good for 1 or 2 free round trip tickets.
Well, maybe not round trip tickets, but if you turn it over, it does say that this card entitles you to, number 1, borrow books from the Between the Covers club.
Great.
And we have books from all of our authors that have been featured on the club, as well as books that we recommend and have featured. It also entitles you to join us for a glass of wine. So anytime you happen to be here in the audience, the wine is yours. I do ask that you read, and if you're going to be in the club, and if you're going to be in a book club, you have to read. Make it a part of your life. Share books with others, share the show with others, and also encourage aspiring authors and readers, not to discourage anyone. For our audience members, you too can become a member, and you even get your own card. David, you want to hold up the card so they can see what they get? And you get the same things. You get wine, you get books. If you go to BetweenTheCoversTV.com to sign up, you'll be on our newsletter to get book recommendations, questions for discussion for your book club, etc. Free books, because we're able to get lots of free digital books to send out to people. And if you would like your book club, if you're local, to be featured here on Between the Covers, or we can Skype you in. If you're local and you'd like to invite me, I'd love to bring a bottle of wine and join your book club, so just let me know. The non-local people, if you want to include plane tickets, I am right there.
I know it.
We are fortunate enough that we do get those people, and we had a Skype guest last week.
Nice. Cool.
Yes, which was fabulous, because he was the past 2 weeks, in fact, we had people to the point that if you're an author and you'd like to be featured too, go to Between the Covers TV and there's an author form. Well, when I first put up the author form, I didn't ask, where are you? So I had an author, and we were in talks, and great, we're going to make it on November 28th, and I was so excited. I had lined up a good group to go with the whole theme. And then I think it was about a week before his appearance, and I sent him the directions, like I sent to you. And he said, I live in Michigan. And I said, that never came up in conversation. So he Skyped in. And now we have a form that says, where are you? We had an author from Liverpool, England, Skyping in. We've had all sorts of people all over the world. So you can join our book club. But you're probably not going to be here for the wine. But I'm willing to go to England and bring... I am more than willing to go to England and bring a bottle of wine with me. So if you would like to borrow any books, we have some fabulous books by our authors here. And I think that Bobby showed you the whole join the club at BetweenTheCoversTV.com. We have some new releases that are coming out, and I'm going to rib my dad for a moment about this new release. My dad is fabulous about now. He rips out every single book thing in the newspaper. If he sees book news, he sends it to me. So the other day, my dad said to me, he was so excited. He said, do you know that they are coming out with a new edition of To Kill a Mockingbird, and it's going to be a graphic novel? Bobby, do we have the cover of the new To Kill a Mockingbird, and it's a graphic novel? So the next line my dad said is, wow, a graphic novel. I didn't realize there was so much sex in To Kill a Mockingbird. I said, Dad, that's not what a graphic novel means. What a graphic novel means, if you've never heard of one, our next slide there's a page out of To Kill a Mockingbird. It's kind of like a comic book. It's completely illustrated. It doesn't mean that they added more sex. But Dad didn't know. But thank God Dad told me about To Kill a Mockingbird. Well, it's selling like hotcakes. It is one of the top sellers. Not as much as the Michelle Obama book, but it is selling like hotcakes. And what's fabulous is that people are reading To Kill a Mockingbird. People who might not have read To Kill a Mockingbird because it has pictures. And all those people who like books with pictures are reading To Kill a Mockingbird. Before we go to our first commercial, we have 2 book giveaways. David, would you help me? In this bag, we ask all of our viewers to please share our program so others can watch. These are the names of all the people who have shared our program. It would be lovely if Facebook just gave them to me on a spreadsheet. They don't. I do have to sit there and click who shared and copy and paste every single name and then write them on little strips of paper.
Wow.
Appreciate this. So whoever our share winner of the day is going to get a book from one of our authors. You can tell us who that's going to be.
You like to read it? Or?
If you can read it, I typed, so it's not my terrible handwriting.
Let's see. Eileen Morgenstern Lichtenstein.
Eileen. Eileen is fabulous. Well, we won't give Eileen back her book. Eileen was a guest author on our show, and thank you for sharing, Eileen. You'll be getting a book from us. That's fabulous. And we have one more. We always do a book quote on the show to see if you know this quote. So let's, if you do know this quote, you're going to have to call 516-945-9099. Bobby, do we have the slide with the quote of the day? You do not have the slide. Oh, technical difficulties. No worries. Luckily, I have the quote right here. So, the quote of the day going with the season, and my guests who are authors cannot call this one out, although you'll probably all know. Here's our quote of the day. Old Marley was dead as a doornail. I'm not saying a word. Call up 516-945-9099. Be our first caller who knows what book that's from, and we'll get you a free book. In the meantime, let's hear from our sponsors, and we'll be right back with our guests.
Me llaman Dan Pablo, y hace más de 20 años me enamoré de una colombiana. Viajé a su país y conocí un estilo de café muy distinto, muy especial. Ahora tostamos cafés excelentes, con alturas y microclimas diferentes, resultado en una taza muy compleja y muy rica, un sabor nuevo en el mundo. Fue un éxito. And I even got to keep the girl.
Do you have a book, either in your head or on your desk, just waiting to get out to anxious readers? Hi, I'm Stephanie Larkin, author, book developer, and head penguin at Red Penguin Books. We're a publishing company specializing in books of all genres and publishing in all formats, including digital, audible, and print books. From business books to romance, memoirs to mysteries, our authors have complete control over their books from start to print. We'll help get your book to booksellers all around. major booksellers such as Amazon, Apple, Kobo, Walmart, even libraries and bookstores around the world. We believe in our authors. So call or email today to get your free publisher's packet to get started. Just visit us at redpenguinbooks.com and get your book out there and into the hands of your readers. At Red Penguin Books, you call all the shots. So call us today and turn your dreams into a reality.
Me llaman Tan Pablo.
Welcome back to Between the Covers TV, and thank you for joining us. I have somebody with us today, the author of The Blatant Truth, 50 Ways to Sales Success. Adrian Miller is a sales coach and an absolute inspiration to me. She's one of those people that I kind of look at her and say, I could do this, I could do this. Mm-hmm. And then I read the book and said, oh, now I know how she does this. Yeah. So please welcome Adrian Miller.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you.
So now I know the secrets. No.
That was the reason for the book.
Absolutely. I'm lucky I got out of chapter 1, though, because it was so dense. You know, I read the book, and thank you so much for sending it. And I read it so that I could say, I read the book. But I said, you know what I want? I want to take one chapter at a time, one truth at a time, and stick it on my computer.
Yeah.
And live it for a week.
So I'm not a sales coach. I'm a sales trainer and consultant, and a lot of my clients use the book, and we use one chapter per class. So, because a lot of my clients, I'm there for a year.
Right.
And so we have 50 blatant truths and 52 weeks, and it all works out very well. So
that's fabulous.
Yeah, you can take one a month. It depends on
Absolutely.
whatever your own pace is.
Well, that's why I said I read the whole thing at one, you know, in a couple of, and I said, oh God, my head is swimming. Yeah. That's absolutely a much better way to do it.
Yeah.
So the reason you wrote the book was to use in your training sessions.
The reason I wrote the book is because I do so much keynote speaking. I wanted a back-of-the-room product.
Love that.
And I was consulting in California at the time, and I was flying there pretty much every month for a week for about 4 or 5 years. So I pretty much wrote the book while I was flying. It was the only time I had any concentrated time to do writing without running the other businesses. And the driver was have something back of the room and just, visibility, credibility, and that kind of stuff.
I love that. And,
yeah.
And was it a good use of your time to do it?
Absolutely. First of all, it helped fill the 5.5 hours flying to
I love that.
San Francisco. Yeah. It was perfect. It did exactly what I wanted it to do.
That's great.
Yeah, it's
great. Tell our audience a little bit about what you do, where they can find you.
I do sales consulting and training, sales strategy, process improvement, anything to do with somebody who wants to get more new clients as well as retain and grow their existing business. I'm also a writer, so I have a copywriting and content development company with 2 partners, and we write newsletters and blogs and social media and websites and sales letters and marketing materials and pretty much anything that has words except for ghostwriting, which is when I was with that man and he said, could you ghostwrite? And I said, no. But I know someone who can.
Wow.
That's not what I do.
You don't do ghostwriting.
I don't do ghostwriting. Not.
You know, when I do it, I put on a white sheet. I always think that.
Right.
I should put on a white sheet.
I'm ghostwriting. I'm ghostwriting
You are.
Short form.
Yes, you ghostwrite.
Not long form.
And I always laugh when I meet someone who is a client of yours, and I'll say, wow, I love your blog. And then they'll maybe kind of shyly admit, yeah, Adrian Miller does it.
And I tell them they never have to say that. They own the content.
Right.
I have little pride of authorship when I'm writing so many newsletters and blogs.
Right. No, that's good.
Sometimes I literally forget. So I'm on the distribution list. So I'll get it and I'll go, wow, that's really good. And then, wait,
I love that.
I wrote that. Of course it's really good. How did they nail that topic?
I love that. You don't even recognize yourself in there.
Yeah, it's fun.
Now, you described that you work with people who want to get more clients, grow their business. Okay, who didn't she just describe? I think she described everybody I know.
Most people who are in business would like to continue to grow their client base.
Absolutely.
If they don't want new clients, they absolutely want to retain their existing ones, and you need to do things in a sales-oriented way to do that. So, yeah, it covers all industries and professional services.
You know, the reality is, whether you are the most fabulous business owner in the world, they say that about 10% of the population moves every year. If the average time, they say in real estate, the average time that a person spends in one location, in one home, is about 7 years. I've been in my house for like 30, but besides that, you know, they say 7. So if you just think about the moving population, the reality is that you are bound, even if you're wonderful, even if your customers or clients adore you, you're going to lose 5 to 10% of your client base on an annual basis just to moving.
Totally. But my client base is, my clients are all business to business for the most part. Not so much business to consumer, but business to business. And the issue with business to business, especially for a startup or a small company, maybe 1 to 15 employees, 10 employees maybe, that size organization. Often the person who started the company, who has a wonderful product, wonderful idea, fabulous service, is passionate about what they do and incredibly knowledgeable, they're a subject matter expert, doesn't have the slightest clue how to sell it, and maybe less of a clue how to market it.
You're absolutely right.
So when you have a great idea, a great product, a great service, whether it is B2B or B2C,
absolutely,
if you don't know how to market and sell it, your passionate business, your fabulous idea will never take off and launch. So at a small size company, you often don't bring in professional salespeople. It's very homegrown, or you're tasked with doing it yourself.
In which case they need a sales trainer.
So you need to have, you need to have a strategy. And if you have salespeople, yes, of course you need sales training, etc.
Of course.
But yeah, it's interesting. It's been fun.
But I like the way you said that. You know, a company that's small doesn't necessarily have professional salespeople, but the owner, who it might not be their, I'll say, natural skill set, or even comfort level to be a salesperson, you're it, babe.
Yep, absolutely.
And that's somebody that you could work with, a business owner?
I do it all the time. Or how about the solopreneur attorney, CPA, architect, engineer, business coach, IT person who has a good business, okay? They have to, and they'll often start and have one client, maybe even 2. But if they want to grow that, and if you can't have a business sustain for too long with one client, it's real risky. If they want to grow that, they're not quite sure how to do it. So they may not have the sales competencies themselves, but even more importantly, they may not have the strategy, because it does require strategy coupled with the tactics. So yes, absolutely. That's a good segment of our clients. And then we have mid-sized businesses that have, I don't know, 50 to 100 people, 200 people, and then clients that go up to the many thousands nationwide. And they have professional sales teams, and they have sales management, and then they have me as a sales trainer.
I think when I first met you and I knew you were a sales trainer, in my head I was picturing those like a huge pharmaceutical company with all those salespeople, and they go to class with Adrian, and they take their notes and they learn sales techniques, and I'm sure you do that.
Yep.
But I love hearing that you work with someone who is a solopreneur, because when you're a solopreneur and you have to wear every single hat in the book, and the hat you might feel most comfortable with might be the creative idea hat, but that hat that says you're selling,
or the technical hat, or the financial hat because you're an accountant, or the legal hat, absolutely. And but you still have to get clients.
Yes.
And so those large pharmaceutical companies and financial services companies, et cetera, typically have a very robust in-house sales training department, because they're continually recruiting and hiring, bringing in people. They need to have that functionality in-house. And small companies, because sales training is an ongoing thing. It's like training to be skilled at anything. You continue to on-go process improvement and keep your skills at the highest level. You don't do it once and go, okay, I got it, I nailed it, I never have to do this again. Big companies have that in-house. Small companies can still avail themselves of doing ongoing improvement. They just have to do it a different way.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell our viewers where we can find you, where we can call you, because sign me up.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Website is adrianmiller.com. That's the easiest one. And Adrian is ADRIAN, adrianmiller.com. Best way to find me, easiest thing. Telephone numbers are there, and links to my other businesses as well.
Terrific. We're going to take a short commercial break while I get an autographed copy of this, and we'll be right back.
The sun is getting warmer, but when we soar away among the clouds, the sky is just a border, but when we're floating up like helium.
Do you have a book, either in your head or on your desk, just waiting to get out to anxious readers? Hi, I'm Stephanie Larkin, author, book developer, and head penguin at Red Penguin Books. We're a publishing company specializing in books of all genres and publishing in all formats, including digital, audible, and print books. From business books to romance, memoirs to mysteries, our authors have complete control over their books from start to print. We'll help get your book to booksellers all around. Major booksellers such as Amazon, Apple, Kobo, Walmart, even libraries and bookstores around the world. We believe in our authors. So call or email today to get your free publisher's packet to get started. Just visit us at redpenguinbooks.com and get your book out there and into the hands of your readers. At Red Penguin Books, you call all the shots. So call us today and turn your dreams into a reality. Okay. Welcome back to Between the Covers TV. Thank you. And thank you, Adrian. We are all inspired and we're terrified and we're sitting there and we're thinking, damn, I'm not doing nearly enough and I have no sales training. And
Terrified.
you're so right. Well, not terrified's a bad word. It's a good time. It's the end of the year, which means it's the beginning of the next year.
Absolutely.
And, you know, even if you are doing well, there's always room for improvement.
Even more if you're doing well. Absolutely.
You know, I think that it's inspiring to say, wow, that's how I felt looking at the book, was like, wow, I'm not doing that. Think of how well I'd be doing if I did do that. I love that. Yeah. On a totally different note, if this is how to fix our professional life, Keisha Christian is here to tell us how to fix our personal life and our health. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for sending over a copy of your book. I was reading Keisha's book, and as I was reading, I was thinking, damn, I do nothing. I really.
While you're eating chips.
Oh, I admit, she's sitting right here. I don't know if I want to tell her what I
you look
really.
great, though.
Oh well, you are just too sweet. Can you come home with me? I am terrible, and it's very funny because I go to a lot of business meetings and eat a lot of food, and every time I'm in a meeting, I order the salad, and everyone says, "You're so good." I said, "You have no idea. At 2:00 in the morning, I am in bed with a box of Russell Stover. You have no idea. This is all to balance. So in public, I eat salad." But I was reading this, and I was, oh my goodness, all the things I should and could be doing. You're gonna tell us a little bit about you, and you're gonna give us some, like, what could we do easy? I was hoping the water wasn't so hard. I loved your water recipes.
Yeah, my recipes are pretty simple. So.
Except I don't know what alkaline or filtered water is.
Well, alkaline has to do with the pH of the water.
What do I do to get that?
Well, actually, you could purchase it. There's also a machine that you could purchase. It's quite expensive, though.
So I should just purchase the water?
Yeah, you could just purchase the water.
Is some brand of water alkaline?
Yes, actually, I've seen alkaline water at Trader Joe's.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I like buying things. I'm really good at buying things.
Yes, so you can purchase it.
But I was looking, and your detox drink recipe here, I don't know if you could see this. It looks so beautiful. Spearmint and peppermint leaves and orange slices, and I'm looking, well, for one thing, it was so appealing that I'd actually drink, how much water are we supposed to drink a day?
Well, it depends. In the book, I said it's half your body weight. Yeah, so whatever your body weight is, you drink that in ounces.
I mean, maybe if it looked that pretty, I would. But then I got to the part that it said 1 liter of alkaline or filtered water, and I said, that's not tap, is it?
No.
But can you use like one of those?
You can use a Brita filter.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be alkaline.
I think I have to be a
Because
filter.
you can use your Brita filter and then put in cucumber and orange, and that's what I do.
I could do that. You do
And
that? You're
yeah.
so healthy. Look at you. You look fabulous.
Yeah, no,
Look
but
at you.
I'm the one with have that healthy water and shoving chips in my mouth. but you know, everything in balance, as you said.
Yes.
But I like good water recipes because
Oh,
we are
yeah,
supposed
this
to
book
drink
has
a
a
lot.
whole lot of water recipes. And I was saying, where have I been all my life? I didn't know I was supposed to be putting things in my water. I thought I was so
makes it more
fancy.
interesting.
It does. I thought I was fancy when I go to a restaurant and I say, could I have a slice of lemon in my water? I thought that was cool until I saw your book. And then I discovered I'm really not that cool after all. So tell us about you and the book, and what do you do, and how are you going to fix me?
Well, I'm a holistic lifestyle coach, so I work with people to help them live a more holistic lifestyle and have a better quality
And
of
look
life.
this good. Do you see her? She's actually 102. How good she looks.
And I'm also a special ed teacher or educational consultant, so I also work with children with special needs. But one of the things, and I'm also the owner of Keisha's Gemz, so I make and create holistic products such as jewelry, like what I'm wearing right now, and also soaps, lotions, all those things.
She sent me an email with, and I saw it actually, and it wasn't the email, it was in the book. I was reading the book, trying to think of how can I do this.
The last chapter of the book.
And I get finally to the part about the soap. It was all the products. And I see that she makes chocolate soap. And I said, this is what I need in life. I need to smell like a chocolate bar. So quick, I emailed Keisha. I said, you're going to be on the show next Wednesday. How much is the chocolate soap? Please bring me the chocolate soap. And I get back an email. The chocolate soap is sold out. We do have the pumpkin and with the peppermint. I said, I guess I'll smell like a Tic Tac. I'll take the peppermint. So do you have my peppermint soap?
Yes, I do. And also, I found a chocolate soap.
You found a chocolate soap?
Yes, I did.
I can smell like a chocolate bar.
There you go. And this peppermint soap is
Oh, and how much are these?
They're $5. I'm actually having a sale right now on my website.
Here's money. It's like we're doing a drug deal for
Thank
soap.
you.
I'm getting soap on television. Tell us about the sale.
I'm having a sale right now on my website, KeishaGemz.com. That's KEISHA GEMZ.com. And all items are on sale on the website. All the soaps are $5 each. And addition to that, you get free shipping for all orders over $20.
Wow.
So use the code free shipping.
Free shipping. So we need a
all
code.
in lowercase.
Free shipping, lowercase. Is there a space between those words?
No,
or just
one
smush them together?
word.
Free shipping.
Yes.
All lowercase, and there's a sale, and really,
This looks fabulous.
You need this up. So you make
Thank you.
these
Yes, I do. I make them.
by hand?
Yes. I
Okay,
make
I
many
can't even
things
make
by
dinner.
hand.
Wow.
Yes.
Show us what else you have there.
So this is the
I'm
holiday.
hoarding this. I don't want it to
This
go
is
away.
the holiday collection I have here. So I have this is a sweet potato soap where I actually the sweet potatoes came from the farmer's market.
I'm going to smell everything.
Well, peppermint soap, you know.
Okay.
This is the pumpkin soap.
Ooh, pumpkin soap.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
When is
All
it?
I use with
I like
essential oils, and this is a frankincense and myrrh soap.
Oh, frankincense, like the Three Kings.
Yes, exactly.
I didn't know there was a real thing.
Yes.
Essential oil.
Yes.
at
All
that.
essential oils.
Very
Now,
healthy
now tell us
essential
about, I
oil.
read the chapter, but tell us about these essential oils and how they help us.
Well, essential oils are very good for many things. One meaning it could be an immune booster. So especially if you
I
use
need
it
an
in
immune
a
booster.
if you use it in a diffuser, certain oils like eucalyptus, even orange. Well, orange is like a it helps to boost your mood. But immune booster like eucalyptus, if you have a cold, if you diffuse it in the air, it's very good to help clean, to clear up sinuses or to help just to clear you up so you can breathe better. It's very good for the respiratory system. Frankincense and myrrh is very calming, so it's calmative. And you have the peppermint, which is like lively, so it helps to energize you.
And how is the chocolate going to help my life? Except that I'm going to be very desirable to people because I'm going to smell like a chocolate bar.
Well, the chocolate actually is for the ingredients, I would say, not so much the essential oils because I put vanilla in there,
Okay.
but the chocolate is antioxidant, so it's actually very good for the skin.
So it's not just so that I smell fantastic, because
Yeah.
I'm going to.
So it's good for the skin, and it also has goat's milk in it, and goat's milk is great for the skin as well because it's good for acne, if you have any problems with the skin, like psoriasis, things of that nature.
Really?
Yeah, it helps to clear it up.
Wow. So you sell products on your
Yes.
website.
Yes.
The book is available on your website?
Yes, it
And then
is.
you also work with clients individually.
Yes, yes.
Tell us about your work with people. What do you do?
Okay,
do you
so-
like look at them and say you need frankincense? Or, I
So
don't know.
basically what I do when I do work with people, I work with them as far as with their nutrition, coming up with a plan.
Ooh, nutrition.
Yeah, so different things you could do to incorporate eating much healthier. And also other things you could do because it's not just about eating. When I talk about holistic, it's mind, body, and spirit. So as far as like, what are you doing to feed your spirit? You know, do you meditate? Do you pray? Because
Yes, there was a chapter.
that's also mentioned in the book. Exercise. How much exercise do you get in? Do you have movement throughout the day? Do
My
you,
guilt factor is rising as you're mentioning things like exercise. I'm just like, I hope she can't read right through me. Okay.
yeah, so things like I focus on things like that as well. Also, even like thinking about your thoughts. What type of thoughts do you have? Do you have your own personal mantras? Those are all things that
Wow.
I mention in the book
You work
as well.
with people to get a mantra.
Yeah, so even with my students, I do it with as well. No negative self-talk around me. So anytime you speak about yourself, it must be in a positive light. So that's something that I always remind people of, students as well as clients. Also forgiving. Have you forgiven? Ask for forgiveness. So we're looking at the Trinity, mind, body, and spirit. So when you think of holistic, it's not just, like I mentioned before, what you're putting into your body. It's also what you're feeding your mind. What are you feeding your spirit? If you truly want to be healthy, those are the three things you need to look at.
Boy, do I want to be healthy like that. Not like the Russell Stover box and no exercise. It sounds fabulous.
Yes.
All right, so to remind us where we can find you, what we can get, and sign us up.
Okay,
Tell us.
so my book is available on my website.
Hold it up so they can see.
My book is available on my website, KeishaGemz.com. That's KeishaGemz. And also, my book is also available on Amazon. Amazon is also on Kindle, so if you want to get the ebook version on my website too, I have the ebook version on my website as well. So either on Amazon or on my website. On my website, I'm actually having a sale on the book. The book is now $15, so you can pick it up.
And you, too, can make these fabulous waters and learn what you should be doing.
Yes.
And call you because we can't figure out even what filtered water is. We'll be right back with more. Thanks for joining us.
Me llaman Dan Pablo y hace más de 20 años me enamoré de una colombiana. Viajé a su país y conocí un estilo de café muy distinto, muy especial. Ahora tostamos cafés excelentes, con alturas y microclimas diferentes, resultado en una taza muy compleja y muy rica, un sabor nuevo en el mundo. Fue un éxito. And I even got to keep the girl.
Is that
Small
me?
doses.
Welcome back to Between the Covers TV. Wow, we've learned so much today about improving our business and improving our mind, body, and spirit. I have a third guest on today who is doing what so many of us writers have been told for our whole lives that we should do, and we pretty much ignore it, like we've been told we should drink as much of our body weight in water, and we ignore it. But think of how great we'd be if we actually did it. Please welcome Mr. David Lange. So, David, you come here to us from the Air Force.
I do, yeah. And was that a picture of me?
It is a picture of you. Look at this. That was a picture of you in uniform. I hope you don't mind. So tell us a little bit about your Air Force career, how many years, what rank, all that other good stuff.
Yeah, sure. I recently retired from the United States Air Force. I actually joined on 6 July 1984.
I could say, like every other person in the world, thank you for your service.
My pleasure, and it's an honor.
And I especially thank you. You know, my daughter is in the Air Force, so we have
She
that in
is.
common, and thank you very much for paving the way.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So you recently retired. You were a colonel?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I flew for about 14 years, a couple different airframes as a navigator, KC-135 and the E-4B. Then a lot of staff jobs with increasing responsibility throughout the years. Lived across the world, lived all over the country, moved countless times, and then finally, after 30 years as a commissioned officer, I retired this past spring. So.
And he still dresses in red, white, and blue. Do you see this outfit? I love that. As impressed as I am with all that, the reason I asked David on for the show is because in talking together, he mentioned that he has been keeping a journal since the age of 14.
I've started it technically at 16.
Okay, 16, which is way before I did because I haven't started one yet. And it's one of these things that we tell aspiring writers all the time. You should be keeping a journal. Sometimes if you are a college student in a writing class, they check your journals to make sure you're doing it, and then at the end of the semester you stop doing it. And it is a fabulous thing to write journals. I wish, I had planned on when my children were babies, at least writing something. And something that's so memorable. Oh my gosh, the way she says Pischetti instead of spaghetti. Well, now I don't know which of the three kids did that because I didn't keep a journal. And you've actually been religious about this since the age of 16.
I have, yeah. I began, in fact, and one thing which will...
and these are the...
these are just a sample. I'm up to volume 33 now. So
do they all look like this? Did you get
they
the same?
all look like that. they do. I have to confess that they no longer make the 300-page version, hard copy. They're now a little more flimsy, and they're a little bit smaller. I think 200 pages is the most
and
you
would
can
know
find.
this.
I would know this, yeah, because I bought a stock. I mean, I bought like 10 of them at the store, and then I was going through those. So they're slightly different, but otherwise, yeah, exactly the same. In fact, I think my most recent one, did I bring that? Was right here. So you can see
flimsy
a little flimsier, not quite as sturdy, but that was my most recent one. And actually something interesting, if you got a moment, I'd like to mention too, is today someone was mentioning to me, and people have before, that, hey, I wished I had kept a journal, I wished I had done that. I want to say that it's never too late, and I had this great idea that I actually did, and I call it my pre-diary. So at some point in time, I realized that everything I was talking about in my life was from, August 31st, I have to talk
military.
civilian now. August 31st, 1982. That was when my first
That's your
volume
first
one.
journal entry?
That's my first
August
diary
31st,
right here.
1982.
And this is volume 1 right here that I did bring with me. But what I thought was, a lot of great things happened to me, in my younger days, and those stories are still alive in my mind. So before I lose them, I'm going to go back in time, reach back to my earliest possible memory, my original house when somewhere between 3 and 4, and just start with memories. And so that's what I did. Actually create a whole diary volume, just going through, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, and key things that I remember. Great stories like when a wasp nest attacked me and my buddy in the front yard or the backyard, and what we did, and my mom fighting off, the bees or whatever with newspapers and things. I mean, every story that I could remember that was memorable or impactful, I wrote in here as best I could. I mean, I probably missed some. But anyway, so my point to everyone who's listening is, if you don't have a journal, it's not only not too late to start, but it's not too late to recover some of those things. And granted, you're looking at it with a little different perspective, a little more age on you. So obviously, as I'm writing as a 20-year-old about my experiences as a first grader, I'm thinking, about it a little differently. But still,
Absolutely.
you have that capture.
It's better than not having
It's
captured.
better than not having it. And at some point, you might forget that. And it's great to look back, because I guarantee your memory of your 5-year-old experience is going to probably be a little better, at age 20 than it is at age, 60.
You're absolutely right.
So.
My memory of what I had for breakfast right now is kind of hazy.
That happens to us all. Yeah.
I love this. I want everyone to look at this pile, and this is not even all of it.
No, that's just part of it. Yeah.
So 37 volumes?
33 volumes.
33
and then
volumes.
The free diary.
And the free diary. And you carry these all over the world whenever you went
I
someplace.
do. In fact, this is my greatest fear, because I have to rely on the military to move my stuff, especially when I'm living in South Korea.
Right.
I just can't put 33 diaries in luggage. Otherwise, I'm not going to have clothes or toothpaste or key and essentials. So I have to rely on someone else to move it. So my greatest fear throughout all those moves have been that my diaries would be lost. And photo albums are number 2. Obviously, kids didn't want to lose them either. But I was always afraid.
And the kids were a third.
Right, yeah. So that was a concern, but fortunately, thank goodness, I've kept them all. I haven't lost them, and they're still one of my most prized possessions.
I can imagine. That's unbelievable. David and I were at a workshop I was giving this morning about writing a memoir. And it was very funny, because I'm giving this whole workshop on how to approach different ways of approaching writing a memoir, and there's David in the audience. And I'm like, do what he does. He's got it all ready. You're ready to go. You have all of your source material, and we're all sitting there saying, "Oh gosh, I have to remember everything that happened." And I've tried to explain that you don't have to remember everything that happened. A memoir is actually a slice of life. It doesn't need to be from the beginning to the end, and that's a freeing thing to realize that you can write a memoir about just that wasp incident. It doesn't need to be about your whole life. But I did look over at David during the workshop and say, "That's who's doing it," and he's doing it. One of the things you mentioned to me about these journals is you have some entry, I forget which one you mentioned, that you write comments on every year or so about an old entry. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I will. The origin of my diary actually began after a very impactful trip I had as a teenager. I was in a very hard point in my life. I mean, it was just very difficult for me. A lot of things going on in my head, and then I went on a trip to Spain back in 1982. I met a very special person who was a huge inspiration to me, and I had so many things flying through my head. And also, there's all sorts of stuff. You're at that vulnerable time in your life where you can go one way or the other, and you're sort of confused about things that are happening. Yes. I was, for right or wrong, purposely brought up by my parents without any religion, and yet I'm a very spiritual kind of person. Have great faith inside. So how do I reconcile that? What's happening? What do I believe in? And at the same time, I had all these emotions and feelings about this person I met, and I wanted to fix myself. I wanted to, not head down the bad path. So really, the diary was one of several things. I hate to say that, the classic 10-step process to fix myself, but it really was kind of like that. I made a TV log where I kept track of, all the television I was watching, limited myself to 10 hours a week, said no more than that, and I tracked it all. I had, Yeah, it had all sorts of things that, I was kind of monitoring and saying, okay, I need to do this. And the key and essential piece of the recovery was I need to write. In fact, when I started my diary, I knew, as a teen boy, this is going to be tough to sit down and actually do it. So I said, you're going to write 2 pages a day. You have to.
Wow.
You will write 2 pages a day.
And you're still doing it all these years later.
I pulled back. Yeah, I don't write 2 pages a day per se anymore, but I knew it was never going to launch unless I did. So I recommend setting a goal and just sticking with it. You have to do that. And then after that, the next volume 2, I said, okay, you don't have to do 2 pages because I got to the point where I'm drawing scribbles. I'm a high school kid. I'm like, I got to do 2 pages. I'm going to draw a picture of a football. Down at the and literally there's a picture of football in volume diary 1 at the end of 1 page to fill out the 2 pages. So then the second diary, I said, okay, you got to write every day, but it doesn't have to be 2 pages. Now I've sort of scaled back. Unfortunately, there are some times where I may go, a week or 2 without writing. But
We'll forgive you. I'm so dazzled what you're doing. Trust me.
Yeah.
A week or 2, I've gone like, 30 years without doing this. So I'm very, very impressed.
So I'm sorry, I totally
that's
sidetracked the
okay.
original
That's
question.
okay.
So actually, prior to and I actually brought it in here too, a copy of it. But before the diary started, I actually had done something I'd never done before in my life. I had so much thoughts and emotions pouring in me. I'm like, I just got to write. And so I brought out an old typewriter, the old tick, pecking away, and I wrote about a 15-page story all about my experience out there on that trip. And that was really sort of the start of my diary because it was so liberating, so freeing just to get that out. There's no one I could talk to about it. Right. It's something I felt I couldn't share with anyone, but I felt like I was sharing it. And so I got that all on paper. And then what you're referring to is every year I go back and I reread that story that I wrote, and you'd think that, you might get tired of it, but really every year it just becomes more and more meaningful to me. I told you earlier that the first year, and I always write comments. I always write comments after I read it. And the first year it was something like, oh, this is dumb, I need to get rid of this, I probably should just throw this out and be done with it. And then after that, each year, more and more I appreciate those sentiments. And now I look back and it's almost a tearful experience. I just treasure that so much because I see, me, the real me, I'm just out there, and I realize that we change, we mature, we grow, we have life experiences, but I'm still me. That vulnerable 16-year-old is still part of who I am. I still see that, and I just feel such an emotional connection. And as I wrote in one of my after notes, that this was the most beautiful gift that 16-year-old me could have given to 35-year-old me. And it was, because it just really, I read it and it takes me back in time and it makes me remember what I truly value in life. And I look at the diary that way throughout its entirety. I'll look back at whether it's, one volume here is Desert Storm Combat. I'm flying combat missions. I'm talking about things blowing up on the ground. I'm talking about I may not come home.
He's a person who needs a publisher here.
And, everything from, love, emotions to, regrets, sadness, from, happy marriage, birth of children to a sad, tragic divorce to eventual, retirement from the military. All of that is stuff that, I'm sharing the pages of the, the diary, and then I can look back on it years later and say, wow, I made it through that. I can make it through whatever is coming my way tomorrow. So it grounds me. It takes me back in time, but it also helps me look forward and, never forget who I am.
And I love that you're drawing inspiration from yourself. You're looking back at what you've done, and you can say, hey, pat on the back. You're doing this. You're doing this life. That's fantastic. Too many of us, like you said about self-talk and being negative. Mm-hmm. I think that is just the inclination, is that we just automatically, it's just like if someone says to you, oh, you look beautiful today. The natural inclination is, oh, is this rag? I got it on sale. Or, oh, really? Did I look that bad yesterday? Or, it's in our natural inclination to have negative self-talk. And all three of you have, ways of improving that or getting over that. One, writing, bearing your soul, writing things down so you can look back and learn from the master. You're learning from younger you.
Yeah.
And that's just such a cool thing to be able to do that. And you have ways of us fixing our personhood, starting with the recognition of there's a problem.
Yes.
Because very often, and that's something that Adrian, your book really shone a light on, which is if you don't know that there's a problem, we can't be fixing anything here. You have to look at it and say, even if your business is running well, let's admit it. You're doing all this by yourself, and not all of this is your skill set. Mm-hmm. There is absolutely nothing wrong with calling in a professional and saying, help me. Just like in my house, I wouldn't, do my own electricity and plumbing. I get someone. I might do other things, but sometimes when it comes to ourselves, we think that we always have to do for ourselves. We always have to help ourselves without asking. Here are people. Ask them. Okay? They know what they're doing. Let's take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to hear what they're reading. Thanks for joining us.
Me llaman Dan Pablo y hace más de 20 años me enamoré de una colombiana. Viajé a su país y conocí un estilo de café muy distinto, muy especial. Ahora tostamos cafés excelentes, con alturas y microclimas diferentes, resultado en una taza muy compleja y muy rica, un sabor nuevo en el mundo. Fue un éxito. And I even got to keep the girl.
Welcome back to Between the Covers TV. Wow, have I got a lot to work on this week.
Starting with drinking water.
Starting with drinking water, and I have to get myself a Brita filter and start putting on all that colorful stuff, and then I have to buy a really nice notebook and start keeping journals. Well, you have, regular notebooks. I'm going to have to go and get one of those $18 notebooks.
Right,
I know me. But so many things that I want to embrace and change and fix, and wow, it's going to be a busy week. It's going to be a busy week, Adrian. I'm not going to make any meetings this week. It's going to be a busy week. I've asked our experts here to share with us what they are reading right now. Adrian, what are you reading or recently to recommend?
So I'm in a book club, and my book for this month is Improvement by Joan Silber. And it's a very interesting book about relationships, or as so many books are.
And we're going with our improvement theme, too.
And from the perspective of a young woman, and then her aunt, and when her aunt was the young woman's age, and she was living in Greece. And there's a lot of intersection and a lot of back and forth, and some of the people we haven't had our meeting yet, but some of the people in the club were kind of complaining that they were losing their place, and they weren't sure who Joan Silber was talking about in that particular chapter. But I found it really interesting. I found the characters incredibly rich. They had a lot going on, and how they were able to handle and move forward in negative situations. And I just reread a book that I read as soon as it came out, and it made me cry when I read it then. And it didn't make me cry this time, but I was just even more staggered how brave the writer was, and that's when Breath Becomes Air.
Oh, gosh.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep, I've read that.
The most brave of humans, I think, in that particular situation.
Amazing book.
Amazing. I had to read it a second time.
Absolutely.
I saw it in the library, and I
Yes.
went, I got to reread this. There are whole websites, the quotes websites and all that have pages and pages of quotes from that book.
That's an amazing book.
Amazing book.
Thank you. And thank you for a shout out to book clubs and libraries. Love that. Thank you. Shout out to book clubs and libraries everywhere. Keisha, what are you recommending for us?
Well, the book that I'm currently reading is entitled The Destruction and Reconstruction of You.
Ooh.
And it's written by my dear friend, Dr. Simone Smith-Brown. She is a psychologist, right? And this book is great. It's a self-help book, and it helps with really taking time to look at you and things you could do to help improve yourself.
Oh,
So-
wow.
And it also
If I'm
has-
not busy enough with everything that you three make me do.
There's also homework assignments
Ooh,
in here.
homework.
Yes, so she gives you different assignments to do to help with improving yourself. So it's a wonderful read, and I highly recommend it.
Fantastic. And David, what did you bring for
No,
us
that's
here?
not what I'm reading now. What I'm reading now actually is a book that a friend of mine wrote. It's called Unreasonable Doubts by Raina Martyr Genton. It's her first novel.
Okay.
So I'm extremely excited
Oh,
for
very
her.
cool.
She's a lawyer by trade, so it's sort of a fictional story of a somewhat jaded defense attorney that picks up an unusual case and a little bit of romance spud in there. And I'm just starting my way into it, but I'm very excited for her, and I'm excited to
And a
finish
good
the book.
shout out to an independent author. Thank you. Love that.
Oh,
Love
she's
that.
the independent author as
I
well.
love
Dr.
that.
Simone
You know that
Brown.
that's what we're all about here, is promoting our authors. Please visit us online at betweenthecoverstv.com. I have links to all of these fabulous people and all of the guests and authors who have been on the show in the past, so you can find where to get their books, where to find their businesses, where to meet them in person and start improving your life, and also to join our Between the Covers book club ourselves. So please visit us and connect with these people, and let's all improve our lives. We've got work to do. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.